This is Microsoft 365 Copilot in Word. And in my recent video overviewing some of the features of Microsoft 365 Copilot, I mentioned the fact that one of the areas where I've been most impressed is its integration into Microsoft Word. But in that video, I only got to show off a couple of the things that you can do in Word with Copilot. So in this video, I'm going to dig into this a little bit more deeply. I'm going to show you some of the features that I've been using in Copilot in Word, and I'm going to highlight some of the areas where I think there is room for Microsoft to improve this product to make it even better, and talk about who this is really a product for. As always, anything you see on screen during my demos is either publicly accessible information or is content that's been created specifically for my demos, so there's nothing private that's being shared. Let's dig in. So when you open Word with Microsoft 365 Copilot licensed to your account, you get a slightly different experience in that you get this draft with Copilot window that pops up, and you can see that you get a Copilot button on your ribbon as well. Now, I took a quick look to see if there's a way to turn off this popping up by default, and I couldn't find one. So I think there are some people who may be a little bit confused by this, but overall I actually think that Copilot is positioned in such a way that it's obvious that you have it, but it's not so much in your face that you have to use it. I mean, if you click out of this, you can just start typing, but if you jump onto a new line and you find that you want to use Copilot, this little icon appears and you can just click on that and your box to interact with Copilot will reappear. So in terms of the design of how this is included in the app, in balance, I think Microsoft has done a really good job. In terms of using Copilot itself, pretty much everything you're going to generate that falls on your page in Word is going to come through this draft with Copilot window. And here you can either tell it something that you want it to create and it'll create that based on its knowledge or the knowledge of the AI model that sits behind it, or you can include content that exists within your Microsoft 365 account, content that you as a user have access to right from here. So unlike using something like ChatGPT where you can include files, there's no kind of looking for those files, you can just type in what you want and it'll include it from here. So first of all, let's see what it can do with just creating a document from scratch without any referenced files. And I'm starting with a very general prompt, create a short overview of how to successfully design a new product. And once you're happy with your prompt, you can just go ahead and click on generate. And in general, I'm finding I haven't done any timing side by side on this, but my feeling is that in general, Copilot is taking about the same amount of time that we would have seen ChatGPT take for a similar amount of output. I don't think it's substantially faster or substantially slower. You're not waiting a huge amount of time for things to come through Copilot, but obviously what you're seeing here is you do get it laid out with styles. So if you want to alter these styles, you already have the ability to do that here because it's laid out with heading styles and so on and so forth. So there are some productivity enhancements that you get just by doing this in Word because it's fitting into the way that Word works as an app rather than you just having to copy and paste text from somewhere else and then work it out for yourself once it gets there. So you can see it creates your document for you, and once it's created any text, you can review it, and then you can come down here. You can either get rid of it, you can regenerate it, you can decide to keep it, or you could go ahead and change it in some way. And the other thing that you can do that's not so obvious from here is you can actually click here and it'll take you back to your prompt, so you can change that prompt and regenerate totally. But from here you can just say, I want to make it more formal, I want to make it shorter, whatever it is. So let's say make each section bullet points, and then I'm going to click on generate, and once that's finished you get exactly the same box again, and you can keep doing this for as long as you like really, so you can keep tinkering with it. or you can keep it and then you can start moving around things as you want to. So you can just jump in here and you can edit, and this is just a normal Word document once you've got rid of that Copilot box. But I think what I want to do is to add some more content at the top of this. So let's go ahead and just create a new line, and you can see as soon as I create a new line, I get my Copilot icon again. So I can just start typing here and I can type whatever I want. Or if I want Copilot to work with me, I can open up my Copilot box. So now I'm going to ask it to add a specific section. And in this case, I want it to add an executive summary section. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add that there. And it will create content in line dependent on where your cursor was when you put in that request. So it's kind of like if you had a ChatGPT chat, but you could go back to the top of what ChatGPT has produced for you and insert some additional content there. You can't do that with something like ChatGPT without copying and pasting your document somewhere else or your content somewhere else. But in Word, you can do as much or as little of this as you want. So the thing that I've noticed here is this isn't consistent with the formatting of the rest of the document. So let's change that. And once it's finished, you can go back and review what it's done. In this case, I'm just going to keep it. Now, one of the things that I do find interesting is that the output that Copilot creates for you disagrees with the suggestions that Editor has in terms of making your text good. So I think that is an area of improvement for Microsoft. Now that's kind of the first experience of using Copilot. The other place that we can use Copilot is we can open our Copilot pane over here. And so what this gives us the opportunity to do is we can say we've opened a document and this is a new document that for us, and maybe it's a little bit longer than this, someone shared it with us. So one of the things I can do is say summarize this document. And you can see it generates a summary, it provides references so you know where it's grabbing information from. So it'll show you the line of the document that it's using for that. I'm not really sure, it would be great if when hovering over this it like showed you the line over here or something so you can get some context, but again there are areas where this can be improved over time. One of the things you can't do from this pane is you can't interact directly with the text over here. So I can't do something like turn all the bullets in this document into long form text. So really what this pane is there for is to interact with the content of the document in a very similar way to the Edge sidebar that includes Bing Chat Enterprise versus being able to do anything with the document, so far as my testing so far anyway. But you can create content in the pane which you can then copy and paste over into your Word document if you wanted to, in much the same way as using Bing Chat Enterprise or using ChatGPT. So starting with a new document, this time I'm actually going to pull in data from somewhere else. So I said create a handout for audience members to go with this presentation. And then if I want to include a file, I can either click on my reference a file button here, or I can just use a slash in line. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I am going to type in PPT so that I get my presentation that I've got here. You just basically type in the name of what you want and it'll find documents that match up to that. So I'm going to use my fabulously fun spaceship presentation and I'm just going to go ahead and generate. And when you're using your own content, it does tend to take a little bit longer than just generating from scratch, but that's very similar to what we see in other services like ChatGPT as well. You can see it's going through and it's creating information. I think this is based on each of the slides that are there. And you can either keep it or get rid of it as you could before. Now what you can't do here if you're doing something like this and you're referencing a PowerPoint is you can't say to it, include images of the slides. This is text-based right now, and if you want to do something that's more kind of graphical, image-based, you kind of need to do that somewhere like PowerPoint. You're not going to be able to do that in Word. So I've got two documents in my demo project, my fabulously fun spaceship project. One of them is a project overview that includes some information about marketing, and the other one is a marketing plan. So to compare the two documents, the overview document and the marketing plan document provide a summary of these documents, including a section that presents any significant differences in their marketing planning as a table. And then I'm going to go ahead and generate that. And so this is pretty flexible. It's not just a matter of saying, I have 3 documents, reference them all. You can be creative in what you want to do with those documents. You are limited to 3 documents though. So there is a harder number limit on the number of documents you can use here than there is somewhere else like ChatGPT right now. And you can see that it has indeed created this content as a table for me. So you can be pretty creative in what it is that you're trying to work with here, and you can build some pretty nice documents. The last thing I want to highlight is that everywhere you're working with Copilot, you really are not too far away from any help. And I think this is really important because I think Microsoft 365 Copilot is really aimed at everyone, whereas a product like ChatGPT, you probably need to have at least some interest in using AI in order to engage with it. But Copilot is relevant to anyone who uses Word or PowerPoint or Excel or any of the other Office apps that we know about 50% of businesses around the world use. So when it comes to opening your side panel, you can see that you get some prompts that you can work with. You also get this little view prompt button down here, and if you click on this, you can see there are a whole bunch of different prompts that you can try out. And if you click on view more prompts, it takes you to this window here, Copilot Lab, and you can look for different prompts, and you can even save prompts that you're interested in using later. And so if you want to use one of these prompts, we're just going to go ahead and click on the prompt, and you can see I've got the start of the prompt here, and I can just continue on that prompt and use it. Bear in mind though that content will appear here, it won't necessarily appear over here. So hopefully that provides you with a good overview of how you might want to start using Copilot in Word. And I really do think that this provides a good kind of roadmap of what is Microsoft 365 Copilot all about. It's not revolutionary AI. I mean, if this had appeared back in the fall of 2022, then we would all be like, wow, this is amazing that you can do this with AI. But ChatGPT has already done that, and we've got lots of products that have come along in the interim that have had those kind of wow moments too. And in many ways, Microsoft isn't a wow company. Microsoft is a company that provides tools that you can rely upon as a business every single day. Word is 40 years old, so we can't imagine that the inclusion of AI in Word is going to radically change it. There are lots of people who have been using Word for a very long time and want to continue using it in exactly the same way. But what this does is creates a bridge. It creates a bridge to this revolutionary technology, this technology that has made many of us say, wow, it's amazing that you can do that, but made it accessible to everyone. It's right there in the app. You don't have to get out of your flow and jump somewhere else and copy and paste stuff and then work out how to format it properly and so on and so forth. That are all the problems that come with using a platform like ChatGPT, which is separate to your main productivity apps. By including this in Word, we're getting much the same functionality that we've already seen, but it's packaged neatly so that anyone is able to use it. And so I think this is a product that eventually the majority of Office users are going to want to be using, because it allows you to add that productivity enhancement that some people have got from AI so far and give it to everyone. What do you think? Are you impressed by what you've seen Copilot in Word can do? Are you impressed by how you see that Copilot and the AI feature set is integrated into an app that everyone knows how to use? Or is this underwhelming for you? Is this something that you won't any longer be looking out for and wanting to get? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching through to the end. I hope this was useful to you. Hopefully I will be able to do a few more videos where I dive into some of the Copilot features in other apps as well. Do drop me a note down in the comments to let me know which ones you would be most interested in. But until the next video, bye bye.